Hey everyone, it's Suzanne O'Brien. Thank you so much for being in video number 4. We have had an incredible video training series. We had number 1, the shock phase. What is the shock phase? That is the time that somebody first gets a terminal diagnosis, and it is an overwhelming feeling of shock for both the patient and the patient's loved ones. And so it's very important for us to know how to show up at this initial time period and what we can do to offer support to somebody who just got that terminal diagnosis and their loved ones. And then in video number 2, we have talked about the stabilization phase. And that is the phase, that's my favorite phase. It is where the magic is going to happen at end of life. And if you are privileged enough to get a stabilization phase and the work that can be done, the acceptance, the dealing through past regrets, the family conversations that can be had, that end of life can be completely different than if you don't have a stabilization phase. So it can make it better by like 90%. So the stabilization phase is the time when all the patient's symptoms that were identified in the shock phase are now what you call stable. And so conversations can be had, goodbyes can be said, forgiveness can be given. So such a critical stage. Not everyone gets a stabilization phase, but our goal is that if we build that trusting relationship, we can move patients into that stabilization phase. And then of course, the third video was the transition phase. And you know, I've worked with over thousands of people at end of life and their families, and no matter how much we feel we are prepared for somebody to leave us, we might know it for a long time that they have an end of life disease process. We know it's coming. I don't think we're ever 100% ready to say goodbye to those we love. So this transition phase can be an extremely stressful period of time, usually the most stressful period within the end of life. And there are many different steps and stages to the transition phase. Now, not everyone will go through every step or stage every time, but it's really important to know those steps and stages and know what you can do to be of support to somebody. And sometimes just knowing what's happening and that it's a natural part of the end of life process and not to be afraid can be everything. So super important, those 3 phases, the shock phase, the stabilization phase, and the transition phase. And I'm so glad that you took those trainings with me. And if you didn't, you can still access them. They're incredibly invaluable. I want to talk to you about the end-of-life doula as a profession and what that means. So for me, there are so many people, thank you again for all the emails and the comments that people were leaving, even now on the YouTube channel that we have. This is something that touches each and every one of us. And for those of you who have this calling that want to be an end-of-life doula as the profession, it's happening. The time is now. The projections are now for the non-medical professional to be a huge part of the medical system because, as we talked about, we have this incredible number of aging population. We have people who are over 65. I think there's 78.4 million people over the age of 65 in our country at this very moment. And 20% of that 78 million don't have their own children. At the same time, the projection is now for decades to come that those numbers are going to increase, keep increasing. At the same time, we have our medical professionals, the doctors, the nurses, we have a shortage, and that's going to continue as well. So we have this area going up, we have this area going down. There has to be an answer to the elder care crisis, and that is the end-of-life doula and the doula giver specialist. So non-medical professionals that are trained in caring for the aging population and also those at end of life. Really exciting. So for those of you who want to do this work, the training that I'm going to talk about tonight is going to be something that I have put together based on 10 years of working in education for end of life and working with thousands of patients at the end of life. When I was a young hospice nurse, I knew how to assess patients, but I was on my own as far as acquiring the knowledge with experience. And that took years and years to really feel comfortable and confident going in and knowing what I was seeing and knowing what I could do. More importantly, knowing what I was seeing, but knowing what I could do to help and be of assistance to that patient and to that family. It took me years to acquire that. And, how you learn is that you have an experience, and then if there's something that you don't know, which obviously so much we didn't know in the very beginning, I would reach out to an experienced nurse or try and contact a manager and try and get my answers to some of the questions that I had and piece things together along the way. And again, it took me years to feel comfortable and confident walking into that house that I had a really good set of skills to help this family right off the bat with what I was walking into the house with. This program is going to give you 10 years of experience at the bedside with thousands and thousands of patients and their families. And what does that mean for you? If you want to be an end-of-life doula, if you want to do this work, you want to know as much as you can possibly know as soon as you possibly can so that you can feel confident when you walk into that house, that you have the skills and the tool set that you can, again, know what you're seeing, have a point of reference, and what you can do to be of help to that patient right then and there. I have a saying where I say end of life, time is never on our side. So we don't have a lot of time to go figure things out or hope that somebody calls us back with the answer. Sometimes it's right then and there that you know what to do that's going to make all the difference in the world for that patient and their comfort. And so for you to have the information of all of that experience in one place is going to be incredibly magical. You will actually, if you do the training, you will have more education and know-how than a new hospice nurse. Think about that in this one course. So it's incredibly powerful. The other thing that's really important to know here, that when you feel confident and empowered, first of all, you're going to go out and you're going to be able to announce your business with a lot more authority and people listening to you because you're confident in what you're doing. But the other thing that it does, and this is really special, when you walk into a home that is in crisis, somebody who is at the end of life, and we've talked about fear being death is the second leading fear in this country. It's palpable. People are scared. When you walk into that home, you having the experience, you being the end of life doula, and you are confident and not afraid, all of a sudden, all of the anxiety and fear goes away in that house. Maybe not completely away, but goes away to a really large extent because fear is contagious. And if you do this work, you work with end-of-life people, if you're not afraid, just maybe that family doesn't need to be as afraid, and that is worth its weight in gold. So you're going to get all that experience in one place, which is incredibly powerful. The other thing that we hear a lot is, how can I make this a business and can I do this full time? Yes, you can. You can do this as a business. This is the projection of end of life and aging care is the non-medical professional. And I have a lot of statistics on that. But I'll share with you that in 2014, the Journal of Medicine came out with a Dying in America. And that in 2014, they said that the way that healthcare is going in the aging population, the only way to solve it is by having non-medical professionals trained to help with advanced care planning, to help with aging in place, to help with caring for elderly that need some form of support. They're not necessarily end of life yet, but they need some form of support. And for those at the end of life, specially trained to care for those at the end of life. So that was in 2014. And now this is what I've been saying for 10 years that we have this crisis. And the non-medical professional is the way to go. So that is the way everything is heading. And for us, we have a whole business track and business building series that is turnkey for you. I'll explain that a little later in this video. You can make it a business. What I love about my business, one of the things that I love the most about my business is that I'm my own boss. That I choose my hours, that I choose my clients, that I choose my pricing. And that to me is worth its weight in gold. that I don't ever have to ask somebody if I can have a day off or a morning off or go to lunch. It's all on my schedule, and it's so fulfilling. The most important thing being, too, is that nobody can tell me that I can't spend more time with my patient. Nobody is telling me that I only have 30 minutes with this end-of-life patient, and that is critically important. So that's an amazing piece. The other thing about the end-of-life doula profession is that for you, what this has done for me personally, learning and working in the end-of-life space has changed my perspective completely on everything about life. There is a new joy to every little thing in life. I enjoy the small things. I don't sweat the small stuff. I have a newfound appreciation of all relationships because we just don't know when those will not be available. We don't know how long that our loved ones are going to be with us, or even our friends. I have such an appreciation of life that has trickled out to my family, has trickled out to my friendships, and just to community in general. It is amazing. So what it's done for me on a personal level of just increased my whole being and perspective of everything has been incredible and priceless. So working with end of life has changed the way that I actually live my life, and how much attention I put on certain things, and how I actually have prioritized differently, because it's incredible to know that our time is the most valuable commodity. This is something that we're reminded of, the precious quality of time every day that we do this work. And so that just gets into every part of your life, which again benefits everyone. So it was just incredible and wonderful. My name is Suzanne O'Brien. I am a registered nurse that has worked most of my career in hospice care, which is end-of-life care, and or oncology care, which is cancer care. From the very beginning that I was in that field, I realized that things were not going well for the majority of people and that we had to do something better. So I started writing education pieces and trainings 10 years ago. And I have worked with thousands of people at the bedside. I have worked with people in all different places of the world. And this is my platform, passion, and I am working tirelessly to do free education for families, communities, and now educating the professional end-of-life doula. It's making a change, it's a movement, and it's happening now. So this is one of the most important time periods for this area of care, and it's the most rewarding thing that I have ever done. So I work really hard to do that. Again, when I put together all the experiences that I've had in one comprehensive training program, it was to give you all of that empowerment in one place, so that there are people that say to me, Suzanne, I want to be an end-of-life doula. I can do this work, but I just don't have a lot of experience. That's what I'm worried about. I haven't been with a lot of people. Maybe I had a family member that was end of life that I care for, a neighbor, maybe even I supported somebody that I didn't know, but maybe it was one patient here, maybe one person over here. I'm giving you over 1,000 people in one place and 10 years of experience that you can digest and learn how to do this, so you can walk out after your training and feel so confident in your skill set. You have the calling. You know you can do this. Now I want to give you the education to really be effective and be able to be the best doula right away, which is great. I want to talk to you about what we're going to give you tonight as far as the opportunity to go deeper with the training. If you are somebody who is called to do this, if you want to be of service to those who age and at end of life, I want to show you how we are going to offer that to you. And I want to also let you know that there's going to be a few things that we're going to talk about now that are only going to be specific to this video. Okay, so we have some wonderful opportunities and a time frame of how we're going to be doing the education academic year that's going to be announced, and it's going to be for a limited time. So if you want to do this, you want to really listen and pay attention to what the differences are with the bonuses and the opportunity to take the training at this very time, which I think that you're going to realize is really pretty amazing. There are two different ways that you can go deeper into the training and you can be of service in the end of life and our aging population. One is the certified end of life doula training by Doula Givers, and that is being that end of life doula, learning everything that we've talked about with the 3 phases of end of life, and then you're going to learn the top 10 end of life disease processes. You're going to learn what the decline is with those processes, what that looks like, what the doula would do to help somebody who's through that. And all of the training is filled with actual real life case studies. So that's how the whole Doula Givers training works, is that you get all your teaching, but then you're going to get a family scenario with a patient, and you're going to learn that way. It's going to be like just being there, because there's nothing that is better than having all the elements to an end of life, and there's not one end of life that is completely alike another one. So it's really great for you to learn the decline of disease processes, because there are simple little things that you can do if you know them that will completely change a person's end of life suffering and end of life challenge with symptoms management, that if you know those little things for those disease processes, you can make this so much better for that patient and family. And this training is full of that, full of what I call the pearls of end of life. So certified end of life doula takes you 3 different levels of training, level 1, level 2, and level 3 to become certified. It has the level 1, the level 2 is your top 10 end of life disease processes, your medications, understanding hospice care and where you are in the hospice team and the end of life team. It also talks about advanced care planning, eulogies, memorials, all of everything you could ever want to know about caring for somebody at end of life. Then we have the Doula Giver Specialist. And the Doula Giver Specialist is one of my favorite programs, because for me, and helping to change the end of life to be better for people, it doesn't just mean that we're showing up at the very end. It means that we have to dial it all the way back. We have to help people with advanced care planning, with terminology, with doing their advanced directives, with planning about where they want to age and how we can make that possible for them. We're living so very long now that people are not aware of what that takes monetarily, physically, on all different levels to age. And we want to, again, address those things before they come upon us with sometimes a fall or somebody that is not eating and not safe, and financially not able to be independent. So we want to plan for that ahead of time. We want to have those conversations. That's the care consultant piece. Then we have our elder care doula, who is that doula who will work with the elderly that are not necessarily at end of life yet, but need some form of support. And yet what's beautiful is that you have a relationship then with that person and family for when they become end of life. You will be the first person they call to be their doula, to be there to support them at end of life. You already have a relationship. And then, of course, you have the end of life doula training within that. So the Doula Giver Specialist is 3 trainings in one. It has the care consultant for planning. It has the elder care doula training for working with the elder population. And it has the end of life doula training. And you have the choice of those 2 different programs. Now, I will tell you, if you are somebody who really is sure and considering that you want to do this full-time as work and have this be the way you make your income, you want to think about the Doula Giver Specialist, because you're going to be having 3 different offerings, and you're going to be able to be consulting with people that are healthy, that they're not in crisis, that they're not just waiting for you for an end of life experience. You're going to be working on 3 different levels, and you're going to be able to, the minute that you stop taking the trainings, you're done, you're going to be able to walk out and have your consulting business like that. So it's something that you really want to consider if you really want to, again, do this full time. 2 different trainings. They're both phenomenal. It depends on what you are looking for and what you would like to do. Bonus time. Let me talk to you about what we're offering at this moment, because this is really something that we have worked on for a long, long time, the best way to educate you through an online, through webinars, but yet having that very personal interaction and being fully supportive of you while you're going through your training. So the first thing that I want to say is that when you register during this time period, we have an open enrollment for the academic semester coming up. That's going to start on January 14th. So enrollment is open now, and you can enroll and you can get discounted rate right now, and you can also get the bonuses for that class in January. You can still join after this enrollment period, but the price will be higher and the bonuses will not be attached to it. And at the time period that after the class is started in January, you still can do a self-paced classroom, but you won't be able to have, again, those adjunct supports and bonuses that I'm going to tell you about right now. We have an academic semester. You always get a self-paced classroom with your enrollment, no matter what. So you get this great, wonderful self-paced classroom for the different trainings. But if you enroll now and you want to join us in this academic year, you will get a live weekly webinar that will have a Q&A after each session. So every week you will have one class that we will teach, and we will have a live Q&A after each class, which is something people absolutely love. At the same time, you're going to get a mentor. You're going to have mentorship hours from Monday through Saturday, all week long, that you can call and talk to a live trainer during any time of your training during that semester, which is incredible. The other thing you're also going to get is a private Facebook group with your semester class. So you're all going through the training at the same time, and you're all going to be able to talk to each other on this Facebook private group about the trainings, about any questions you have, and it's going to be monitored. That group's going to be monitored by lead trainers and myself daily. So you're always going to have interaction and feedback, which is incredible. More bonuses. Do you want more bonuses? Okay. So there's going to be after you're done with your training, there's going to be a 30-day to your first client mastermind class. And I think people have the most trouble with, they're passionate. They know the training, they know they want to do this, but then how do they actually get it going? How do they get out into their communities? So there's a 30-day mastermind, 30 days to your first client, that is part of this bonus enrollment period. You also will get a business building series and a marketing packet. All that's going to be listed on the sales page. These are invaluable. Why am I giving so much? Why do I want to do this? Because this is the best way to do this learning and training. I really want to encourage you that if you want to do this, this is the best way for you to be part of the live class and the enrollment period, because first of all, just the financial benefits of it, but all of the bonuses and all of the support with the education that you're going to get is absolutely invaluable. The feedback, the peers, you're going to be in the Doula network, which is going to help you to hopefully find doulas that are in your area, but also to allow you to network. There are people that are sharing clients and referring people to clients after they graduate because they're in the doula network. So it's really important for you to get to know each other during this time period of going to school together. And that's where we want to really give you all of this value. You can take this course at other times, but for me, it makes perfect sense if you want to get in with the academic semester so you have all of this support. Okay, there is no risk involved here. If you feel you can take this training for 7 days, 100% money back guaranteed, if you're not happy, I'm not happy. And I don't want you to feel that you thought it was something different, or maybe it's just not right time for you. So no questions asked. Take the course. Learn the course for 7 days, and if for whatever reason that you feel that it's not for you, then 100% money back guarantee within those 7 days. So there's no risk involved here. Okay, so let me talk to you about the discounted price that you're going to be offered today. The Certified End-of-Life Doula standard pricing is $1997. So that's $1,997. The reduced rate for this enrollment is $997. So that is less than $1,000, and you can do payment plans on that. So that's for Certified End-of-Life Doula. The Doula Giver Specialist is a standard price of $3,997. Now the bonuses add up to a whole bunch more. They'll have the value on the sales page, But for the Doula Giver Specialist, it is $9,997 standard price. For the special, for the enrollment, it's $1,997. And yes, you can do payment plans with that. And yes, you can do this for 7 days, 100% money back guarantee. So there's really no risk. It's really up to you. If you feel that this is something that you want to do, if you want to take the next step into going deeper and wanting to do this as a practice, go ahead and register. There was no better decision for me than taking that leap of faith. And there was a leap of faith. I have to tell you that I was very comfortable in the job that I had. And I was a single mother paying all the bills myself. And I went outside of my comfort zone because I felt it so strongly, this calling. It was nudging me. I knew I had to do this, but I was worried. What happens if it didn't work out? You know, what happens if I took a chance and it didn't work out? And what was I going to do? Can I go back to my old position? Probably not. And for you, you might be thinking the same thing. Most people that take this training are not in their 20s. They're more in the middle of life, looking for a renewed joy de vivre, renewed purpose and passion. And that's scary. It's scary to make an investment. It's scary to take that leap of faith. But I will tell you that that is the biggest reward that you're going to get by following your heart and taking that leap of faith. If you feel it here, if you know that this is something you want to do, I promise you that this training will be beyond everything that you've ever wanted to learn. It is absolutely amazing. So go ahead and register. Now, I want to share with you something. For the first 100 people that register, I'm going to give you the video certification course, the entire End-of-Life Doula certification on video from Seattle, Washington last year. It is amazing. You will get that. Some people are visual learners, so you will have that as a bonus. That's for the first 100 people. I can't stress enough that I can't do this for you. I can't make you take this training, but if you want to and you are called to, you deserve to follow what you are feeling. And I will tell you that the feedback, we have trained thousands of people. The feedback that we get from our doulas, from medical professionals, from all different professionals out in the world, and from families that utilize the doula has been, I don't need anything else than that. So if you follow the training of the doula givers and what we share with you, you will be successful 100%. So I really hope that you do choose that you want to become a doula giver and join our family. And if you do, please click the link below and register. And I hope to see you in class in January.